Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. We're going to go to a quick call. Sandy, welcome to Detroit's Morning
John,
Answer.
how are you? Thanks. You know, you just said something that got me going a little bit about the mental health crisis we have going on. I completely agree with you. But I think one of the things that led to that crisis that we've never seen like now is the overuse of the psychotropic drugs that they are prescribing to these young people. We cannot say this enough so that these parents start hearing it. There's over 150 drugs that are to prescribe to these children that cause anger issues, suicidal thoughts, self-harm issues.
I agree. You know, I got to get Lieutenant Dave Grossman on the show. He talks about it a lot. I mean, the whole video gaming. I mean, this guy is alleged to have been a gamer. And you know, I used to listen to how my son and his friends talk because he had these huge headphones. You can hear everything, and how they talk to each other. It's just it's insane, Sandy.
It is insane, and you've got kids. I have kids who are now grown. I now have little grandkids coming up, and this kind of stuff was banned in my house when our kids were young. They did not do this in our house.
Yeah.
I see it now. Discord needs some better monitoring. They have some legitimate stuff going on, but most of it, no. Reddit, same thing, as you pointed out. These sites need monitoring. They need to be held accountable for what they're allowing to happen on their platforms. It's encouraging these children.
Yeah, especially if it comes out that he planned the whole thing on there. Listen, that's why I'm sorry. I heard a caller on the Morning Answer talk about how, you know, he feels like McCarthyism because of telling people to snitch on people that are. No, if I see that, just know I'm snitching. I'm tagging the FBI to anything that I see that you want to cause harm to somebody. I'm snitching, and I'm telling people that right now, Sandy.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I grew up in a neighborhood not too dissimilar from you.
Yeah.
Not too far from you.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up with the kids. Oh, you know what? Snitches get stitches. You know what? I'll take my stitches. Okay? If it saves a life, I will take my stitches.
Yep. Thanks, Sandy. I appreciate the call. Now, I want to play a couple audio for our next guest because this is the type of things that we are dealing with as it relates to the death of Charlie Kirk. They're really quick.
We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck. In the neck. Who's up next?
We got Charlie in the neck. Day the moolah.
Well, now that Charlie Kirk's gone, Miss Candace Owens, I suggest you stay home with your white baby and your white husband and shut the f*** up.
I'm just really glad Charlie Kirk just got himself shot because he's right. Empathy is dangerous to society. So no one should give a that he's dead. He said it. I'm just saying his words. All I'm doing is
And if you know Charlie said nothing of the sort. And if he did say it, I guarantee you it's been taken out of context by this young lady. I guarantee you. We're joined today by Jeff Dornik. He's the CEO of Pickaxe and author of Following the Leader. Jeff has been outspoken about the dangers of censorship, cancel culture, and blind trust in the wrong leaders. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination and the disturbing reaction from people celebrating his death, we need to talk about where America is headed when free speech collides with hate, violence, and consequences. Jeff, welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me on. Been looking forward to chatting with you again.
Yeah, Jeff, first, what was your personal reaction when you heard Charlie Kirk had been assassinated for his beliefs?
I mean, obviously, it was completely, shocking. It was almost unbelievable that something like this had actually happened. But I think it also I think there's a couple different scenarios that went through my mind. Number one, looking at this specifically, is that when to me I think that this was almost more shocking than the attempted assassination on President Trump, because President Trump, obviously, he's a polarizing figure. People hate him. The media has whipped everybody up into a frenzy, and he was about to become president of the United States.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, it was expected to a certain degree that the left would do something like that. But to somebody like Charlie Kirk, who is just like an everyday person who's going out and having conversations, he wasn't a politician, wasn't an elected official, wasn't a president, and he was assassinated. Like this is probably the first time that I can think that that something like this had happened, where somebody was assassinated at this level that wasn't a politician, that was not a president or a congressman or senator or something like that, since like Martin Luther King Jr. Like when you actually think about it, where they were leading a movement.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is where I think this whole thing is very unsettling to a lot of people, because this was so completely unexpected.
Now, Jeff, we've seen this trend where disagreeing with someone just isn't enough anymore. It turns into dehumanization. How dangerous is this cultural shift?
Oh, it's very dangerous, and this is where this is where the debate and the conversation over responsibility really goes to, is that it's like, yes, both sides have played into the division that's happened in this country. Republicans attack Democrats, Democrats attack Republicans. It gets worse as time goes on. But what's specific about what's happening on the left is that they've been calling Donald Trump Adolf Hitler since he first ran for office. I know for a fact that the left has also been calling Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA Nazis and Nazi sympathizers. We saw the View do this back in 22-23, where they labeled them Nazi sympathizers. So when you actually look at it from that perspective, let's just hypothetically say that we were back in the World War II era and Adolf Hitler was actually in charge, and we were in Germany at that time. I think a lot of people would feel justified at taking him out because of the genocide that he implemented. So think about that from the perspective of the everyday people that have been brainwashed and propagandized here in the United States, where they actually legitimately believe Donald Trump is the modern day equivalent to Adolf Hitler, and anybody associated with him as a Nazi. Now they feel justified for political violence because of that equation, which is completely bonkers and completely false.
Jeff, I got a question, but I want to play some audio for you because when I saw this, it really did hurt my heart as a parent. When you are teaching, and these young girls are probably anywhere from 5 to 8 or 9 years old, right? They're two young girls. And this mother, this is what parents are teaching their children. And I want to get your take on this.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged!
Now, Jeff, how do we get here? Where hatred for someone's belief justifies celebrating their murder. You saw the celebrations. I just played some people celebrating. We got Charlie in the neck. I'm so happy that Charlie Kirk has died. How did we get here?
We got here through the demonization of each other, and I would also argue this is something for me. I run a social media platform, and looking at what's happening, and I think that a lot of these big tech social media platforms are culpable to this degree of division and hatred in this country right now because of their algorithms, and they've kind of siloed everybody off. It used to be if you said something, you would be immediately confronted with an opposing point of view, and so your viewpoint would be challenged. It would force you to review your ideas and think and go introspective and all that. But now is that everybody's off in their own little echo chambers, and to where you're constantly preaching to the choir, and as you preach to the choir, then people feel more emboldened because they're never actually challenged on their beliefs.
Yeah.
And so when you think about it from this perspective, if you're surrounded by a bunch of people that hate Donald Trump, it's like the rhetoric is just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse and snowball to where all of a sudden then people feel it's completely legitimate to talk about President Trump dying or Elon Musk dying in front of your little kids, and then they start thinking that and repeating that because you've been emboldened because you've never been challenged with an opposing point of view. And a lot of that is because of the mainstream media and these big tech social media platforms.
Yeah. If you're just joining the show, we're talking to Jeff Dornik. He's the CEO of Pickaxe and author of Following the Leader. I mean, that was a perfect teachable moment. If my kids had said that, first of all, my kids wouldn't say that. But if they had said that, I would have said, "Hold on, no. We don't. That's not how we're gonna have. We're not gonna talk about who's dying and celebrate that somebody's dying." I mean, that was a perfect teachable moment. And this mother failed. Can you imagine how many households talk like that or celebrate their kids when they talk like this, Jeff?
Right, but see, this is also a symptom of the deeper root problem, which is a secularization of our society. And so, the way our founding fathers established this country was that it was established under the idea that God exists, God is real, and our rights are given to us by God Himself. There are certain inalienable rights that are given to us by God that cannot be taken away by the government. The left and the secularization of our society denies the existence of God. And so when you deny the existence of God, you deny the rights that God gave us. But also, the other thing that you lose is you actually lose your moral compass. You lose the truth that's outside of you. And part of that is the value of human life. Obviously, we see that with abortion and all of that, but we also see it in the way that we view each other, is that, the way that I see everybody is every single person on this planet has intrinsic value because they're created in the image of God. And Charlie Kirk promoted that idea. The left does not. The left believes that we're nothing more than animals that have evolved from algae in the ocean, and then we came from there. And so by taking God out of the mix, you're taking away our actual value as human beings, and to where we're nothing more than animals. So really, who cares if you think that somebody should die, or you celebrate their death or their assassination? Because we're all just a bunch of animals, and it's just a power struggle. It's not. People, in their mind, you don't have value just by being alive.
Now, Jeff, this is a two-part question that I'm going to pose to you. I don't know if you saw the Office Depot here in Michigan where they wouldn't allow a picture of Charlie Kirk. It just simply said Charlie Kirk, his name, when he died, and vigil, that there was going to be a vigil, and they wouldn't print it out. Now, here's the two-part question. Now, you see how some of those who have cheered Kirk's death online are losing their jobs. How do you interpret that? Justice, cancel culture, or something in between? And the next question, is there a consistent principle here? Should we be defending even the most vile speech? Or is this one of those times when, you know the saying, when you play stupid games, you win super prizes? Does that apply?
Right. So when you look at free speech, you look at the First Amendment, you have to split this up into two different categories. Number one is the way the government handles it, and number two is the way that society handles it. And I'll deal with number two first, and we'll move to number one. So when you're dealing with society, it's perfectly normal and allowed for private individuals and private companies to actually associate or disassociate with whomever they want for whatever reason they want. And so, for me, looking at this, we should not tolerate this kind of celebration of death and assassination in this country. And so if it was me, I would not want anybody who could be representing my company to have those kinds of posts on social media or make those kinds of statements. And especially too, it's like, if you think about it, if you're a doctor or you're a nurse and you're treating somebody in the hospital, that patient may not feel comfortable if they actually find out that you were celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Because if they find out that you hold the same views, are they going to treat you the same? Are they going to care if you live or die? So there is a certain real world implication of this. The other thing that I'm even more concerned about right now is Attorney General Pam Bondi, I believe it was just yesterday, was talking about actually going out and prosecuting hate speech. That's a complete violation of the First Amendment. Yeah. If we're going to go out and prosecute people who are celebrating the assassination
I'm not
of
with that.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go for that. Because, I mean, if you go on my social media, you'll see all the hate, the vitriol, and people say, well, why don't you delete it? No, I want people to see the heart, the nature of the heart of people that we're up against. And to hide that, I don't want to hide it. I want people to see what we're up against. And it's frustrating. But when you think about Charlie Kirk's assassination, what does it symbolize for America's free speech debate? And are we entering a new era where people might literally be silenced through violence?
Yeah, I mean, in all reality, there's definitely going to be that fear that people are going to have of being in public places, especially for a period of time, coming up in the near future. I also think that it's also emboldened a lot of people on the right and conservatives to basically pick up the mantle and carry the torch for Charlie Kirk and do more of these conversations and not live in fear, not allow the other side to actually limit our speech. Yes, we may be risking our lives, but this is the cost of actual freedom, especially if we want freedom our children and our grandchildren heading into future generations. So but the thing for me is that I think that what we really need to do is we need to replicate what Charlie Kirk did, and that was show people respect, even people on the other side, and have actual legitimate conversations, put forth your best argument, and argue on the merits, not on the personal attacks. Because the thing is that yes, we should be exposing, the elites and the mainstream media and the politicians for all of their corruption and all of their lies and all of that. But also, we should also take Jesus' example from the Gospels, where he exposed the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes repeatedly, over and over and over again, for the people of Israel to see. However, for the everyday person that was being used and abused by those elites, he showed love and grace and compassion. I think we need to do the same.
Now, Jeff Dornik, in following the leader, you write about the dangers of blindly following cultural elites. How does that apply to the reactions we've seen to Kirk's death?
Yeah, so I think what we've seen is that people on the right typically come out completely in support of him. People on the left obviously come out completely opposed to him, and there's this kind of cult mentality of he wasn't on our team, so we're going to ultimately destroy him or tarnish his reputation or say whatever we need to say in order to destroy him. And so the thing that I'm really writing about in this book is encouraging people to take a step back and look at your worldview, look at your behavior, look at the things that you say. Mm-hmm. Are you saying what you say? Do you believe what you believe because you actually believe it, or is it because you are following the leader? You're a part of a cult. You're a part of a party. You're following your favorite politician or leader or thought leader. And why do you believe what you believe? Not just what do you believe, but why do you believe it? And don't just play follow the leader. Start off with your principles and then move forward from there. Whereas what we're seeing in response to Charlie Kirk's assassination, especially on the left, is that people aren't starting with their principles. There is no, they're not following the First Amendment. What they're actually following is, well, I'm a Democrat. He's a Republican. Because he's a Republican, he's an evil person, so we're going to attack and destroy him. If the same thing had happened to somebody on their side, then they would take the completely opposite approach. That's the cult mentality that we need to rid our society of.
Now, Jeff, you've been building Pickaxe as a platform where free speech and free reach are guaranteed. In moments like this, why is that important? And how would Pickaxe handle something like the vile celebrations of Kirk's assassination differently than other big tech companies?
Yeah, definitely. So for us, because we believe in the First Amendment, there's basically the only things that are banned on our platform are illegal content and pornography. And so for us, what we're looking to do is foster more conversations. A lot of the features that we're building, foster more of a long form conversation, articles, Rumble videos, things along those lines. And we're gonna do more to kind of foster debate and discussion and all of that. Specifically with like how we would handle like a lot of these celebrations. Like we're not going to step in there and shut celebrations down. Now, if there's calls for violence, yes, we will handle that appropriately. If there's illegal content or illegal threats, obviously we will deal with that appropriately. But if people are celebrating and practicing their First Amendment, even if it's vile or hate speech, we're not going to get in the middle of that because we do believe in the First Amendment. And I would rather people see the kind of awful rhetoric and then not want to associate with that. And then if you really don't want to see that, then you have several options, including not following them, including ignoring them, including responding with a better argument, and or even just blocking them. Yeah. So you do have power as an individual, but for us as a platform, we're not going to step in and take away somebody's free speech.
Oh, I love that. Jeff Dornik, CEO of Pickaxe and author of Following the Leader. The book is out, or it's coming out soon?
It's coming out soon, so you guys can pre-order it at my website, jeffdornik.com.
All right, Jeff Dornik, CEO of Pickaxe and author of Following the Leader. Thanks so much for joining us today on Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Detroit's Morning Answer. We'll be right back.